Hello and good morning from a bit of a different backdrop for today for my December daily number 8. We're up to. I am in the city today. We will soon, after the new year, be back into the office a little bit more regularly than what I have been up until now. So I thought I had better start to get a bit more into the habit of coming into the city, getting ready early, jumping on the train, all of those kind of things. So I am today in the office. I didn't get the chance to promote what I was going to talk about today. So not sure if anyone will jump on. If you are there, let us know, say hello, give us a thumbs up, something like that. I can see a few people starting to join in. Mark, you're quick off the mark. Thank you for joining me. I had a couple of meetings earlier this morning and another one shortly, another one in 45 minutes. I wasn't sure how much time I would have in between, whether I could jump on today or what time I could jump on. So squeezing it in between meetings. So apologies for those that didn't get the chance to jump on live. There's a few of you there now, which is great to see. For anyone that's watching on the recording afterwards, would let me know your thoughts, your comments. Lawrence just got back from the court. Hopefully it was a good outcome, up, down. Let us know. Graham watching from Panglo Island as well. So thank you all. The regulars are all here to join in. What I wanted to talk about today was, as per the title, the hidden costs of knockdown rebuild. Now, if anyone's followed me for a little while, I've shared a little bit about what I'm doing in my own life, and we're going through the process of building a new house right now. Certainly, it's something that comes up pretty regularly with, I say, my younger clients, not the aged care, aged pensioners that I've been talking about the last couple of days. My younger demographic of clients in that 30 to 40 year old bracket. Upgrading of the family home is a big conversation and comes up incredibly regularly. So I thought I would just spend a bit of time exploring that today. Might be of value to a few more of the regular listeners than the aged care that I covered yesterday. That's not potentially relevant directly to those individuals. So the upgrading of the family home, a lot of my clients go through the effort of doing the whole renovations. You buy a house, have a family, as in my case, kids start to go to school and childcare, and you kind of really set some foundations down in a particular area, like the space, and don't want to move, but start to outgrow the house that you bought, which is exactly my case, and exactly the case that a lot of my clients find themselves in at different points in time. So there's a few options there in terms of the upgrading to a bigger house. You can do the simple sell your house and buy a bigger house and be done with it. The quick transaction there. There's the renovations. So a lot of homes in and around where I live, they do the classic kind of keep the facade, the period facade, the front couple of rooms, and knock down the back and build a great big extension. Or in other cases, if the house isn't really worth saving whatsoever, knock it down completely. So I'm going through, and the reason I've scheduled this for today, I am in the city, but the house where we're going to be doing the new build was supposed to be demolished today. It's not being demolished at the moment. It will likely be on Saturday now. So I just wanted to go through my experience in going through this building journey. I've never built a house before. I've owned and lived in a few different houses over the last 10 or 15 years, but have never built one. I'm not a builder, clearly, so I really have no idea how all of this worked, and kind of finding my way through it. So maybe the first piece, and we first started looking at building a new house a few years ago, you could go on. We're not really inclined to go and do a custom build and all the rest of it. From others that I know, there's going down that path. It can be a bit of an expensive exercise, but I guess you get the house that you want, and you get to spec it and design it and all of those kind of things how you like. my wife and I are not terribly fussed with doing that, and we've actually gone down the route of going with one of the big volume builders that often do house and land packages out a bit further. But we'll build a new house for us in a well-developed suburb where we live now. So a few years back, we jumped on the websites and looked at the house prices. Go, oh, you get a whole new house for this much money. Gee, it's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. But what they don't tell you, and what we've learned along the way, is that there's a whole lot of inclusions and things that aren't advertised there on the builder's website. So in the case of our house, we certainly have not gone overboard with options and upgrading tiles and stone and all of these kind of things. A lot of it we've kept pretty standard because we actually really liked the standard inclusions. But even the house that we're building, site costs is the big issue for us, and from my understanding, a lot of knockdown rebuilds. So you've got this old house, the ground's been disturbed, they clear it up, but then a lot of work needs to go into preparing the site for the build cost. So for us, between the establishing the site and getting the site ready for the build, and a few upgrades that we've made, as I said, certainly didn't go overboard. It's $150,000 more than what the advertised house was. It's nearly 50% more than what the house is listed now, and I just checked it to see the current price. It's nearly 50% more than what their current house price is listed for. So first thing that anyone considering this knockdown rebuild, and certainly going with one of these volume builders, is that the problem is that you need to go along their journey before you actually get to a point where they can give you some fairly decent indication of what you might be up for. They have an advertised price, but then you need to follow their journey to get your site fees and do your upgrades and all of those kind of things. Now, to get along that journey, you have to pay money along the way. So we've had the final kind of contract appointment, and up until that stage, we've had to pay 5% towards the cost of this house that we're about to build. So that's money that's come out of our bank. We had it, we were prepared for it, but also a lot of what we're going through was unprepared. It's all happened very quickly. We were thinking about it, but it's all moved a whole lot quicker than what we thought. So the financial planner in me is having a bit of trouble dealing with this. But so we get to the point where we've paid 5% now to this builder. The house that is to be demolished still isn't demolished, and there's been a whole lot of other expenses along the way. So first point, the advertised price that's on the website, there's a whole lot more that needs to go into that, and in our case, it's about $150,000 more than what's the advertised price on their website. Then in terms of, I guess, getting the site ready for the demolition has cost us thousands and thousands of dollars as well, which we somewhat were expecting, but we really had no idea what was involved. So we've had to go, we've engaged a demolition company. They go off to council and get all the permits and approvals and all of those kind of things. But demolishing the house, there was a whole lot of asbestos, so removing the asbestos and cleaning up all of that will in the end cost us about $15,000. So it's going to cost us about $15,000 to clear the block. So we bought the house, have to pay the stamp duty that goes with that. Around $15,000 in clearing the block. The neighbour's NBN line. So it's in an old area that has power lines out the front. The neighbour's NBN cut across our block and actually cut across where we're planning to build. An NBN being NBN, no one's allowed to touch their assets other than NBN or an NBN contractor, and so it's cost us $3,500 to have the neighbour's NBN line rerouted a little bit so that it doesn't cross my block, and actually remove the NBN from the house where it is at the moment. So moving the neighbour's NBN and abolishing my NBNs cost $3,500. The builder that we're going with, and it's a bit of an aesthetic look as well, but the builder was pretty insistent on it, and we've had to put in underground power for the house. Now, fortunately, the power pole isn't too far away from the front of our house, so we haven't had to have a big trench done. But getting Gemini, again, Gemini is the distributor of the power in our area. So you can't have anyone else work on the power in the area other than Gemini. So Gemini names their price, cost us $4,500 to have an electrical pit installed. So between knocking down the house, rerouting the NBN, and doing the electrical, it's going to cost us in the order of about $25,000. So that was, expenses that we were somewhat expecting, but actually had no idea of the quantum. So something to be aware of there. Had to go to council, and you get this thing called a protection permit. So if the council owns the driveway and the crossover and the footpaths and all of that, take all of these photos to make sure that no one, that when any work is done, that they don't, if it gets damaged, we have to repair it, but we have to pay for that, and pay a bond that will, if there's no damage, will be refunded. So that was nearly $2,500 there, part of which will be refunded back. Fingers crossed, no damage has been done. So we're up to about $25,000 in stuff to really just get the site ready before the build can occur. Then you move on to the financing of the whole thing. So like most young families, we've got a mortgage. So we've got a mortgage on what will effectively be a block of land. So there'll be a mortgage on the block of land. Looks like my live stream has just dropped out. Just give me a second. There'll be a mortgage on the block of land, but then in order to get funding to help with the build, you have to go through the whole process to get the approval from the banks. So we've got a mortgage on the house as it stands at the moment. We need to borrow money to help with the build, but you can't go to the bank and get them to do the valuation and say how much they're going to lend until you've actually got all the contracts and things signed up from the building company. So we've paid 5% towards the cost of this house, got the contracts and all the rest of it. Then you go off to the bank and kind of cross your fingers and hope that the valuation stacks up enough that the bank will lend enough money to complete the build. So it all seems a little bit backwards, but you spend a whole lot of money up front to then hopefully get the approval off the end. Now it's worked for us, but I'd hate to have been in a position where the valuation didn't quite stack up to what we were hoping it would, and then couldn't borrow the money that was needed. So this whole construction stuff, it's new to me. I had no idea what was going on. Mina, so you get fiber optic when you get it. So the area where we're in, we've got fiber to the curb, and so now with the new house we can just have that the builder can put that up to the pit that's out the front, and then NBN come back and connect it all up. So it's been an adventure. Today was supposed to be knockdown day. It hasn't happened yet, as I said. That will hopefully be on Saturday, and then construction be underway in February of next year. It's been an eye-opener. It's actually been a good experience. I know others that have been through the building experience and it's been horrific. We haven't gotten to building yet, so hopefully it's as smooth sailing as it has been up until now. But yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the whole, knockdown rebuild. As I said, it's a lot of families, when they're going through this upgrade stage, it's one consideration. So either sell and buy something else, do the renovation, or knock down and start from scratch. So we've gone down the knockdown and start from scratch. A bit of an eye-opener, as I said. Cost a bit of money along the way, which we somewhat expected. Lucky we had some money there to cover it all. But yeah, no one is really there telling you any of this stuff unless you work it all out for yourself. So that's it for me today. Bit of a ramble about my new house that's coming. Mina, thank you for joining. That's about the end of the video for today. I've got a guest lined up for tomorrow, so I'll go live at 12 o'clock Melbourne time. Tomorrow I've got a guest lined up. He's not in financial advice, in completely different industry, someone I've actually never spoken to before, but seen a few videos of his that are really interesting. I really enjoy them, and I said, you know what, are you free? Can you join me on Friday? And just love to have a chat with you. So hopefully you can join me on Friday for that 12 o'clock Melbourne time. Enjoy the rest of your day. I need to go and grab some lunch before my 12:30 meeting. Thanks for joining me. See you.